Hey, and welcome back to my M Plus route series. Today we are looking at Skyreach. Skyreach is a very linear dungeon, so there's not too much you can do with routes, but I still have three very interesting options for you. So the first one we are looking at is the standard park route. So what you do is you start the dungeon here, you pull the entire first platform up towards the stairs, and you basically last pull this and destroy all of this pull. And then you go, as soon as like only one of the Dread Ravens is alive, you like pull it up the stairs and or to the middle of the stairs, and you add the two Chakra Masters. Make sure that Blade Talon is not currently walking close to the stairs because he's like patrolling. And then as soon as the Dread Raven is dead, you can basically chain this into pull 2, where you pull the rest of the platform. Remember that there are 3 Gale Callers, so you need to assign like interrupts to each of them. And then, yeah, basically this spawns then the first boss. Kill the first boss. You go up the stairs, pull the middle 3-pack and then into this 4-pack on the right. You kill all of these. Then you go towards the second boss room. Over here, it's kind of important that you don't pull the entire room immediately. What I would do if I were you, even in a pack group, is try to CC the priestess. So actually, we'll click her out, and then we will add her to the boss fight. Actually, so you CC the priestess like with an in-cap from Demon Hunter works, Sleepwalk works. There's a bunch of stuff you can do to like make sure that the priestess is not in the fight, and then you pull the first construct. You damage it to like 50-40%, something like that, and then you add both of the other constructs as well. So this is usually the pull that we do on hierarchies, and I would suggest that you actually try to do it in your pack route. But usually in a pack, you would likely kill the first pack and then chain, or likely kill the first construct and then chain the rest of the pack into the other two constructs. And then you play the second boss. You play the Raven set. You play the third boss. You go up the wind mini game. You pull this pack into this. You can actually pull the Herald of the Sunrise as well into like this pull. So like this is pull 9 then. And then you would probably do something like this, where you pull this pack into the left side of the platform to actually have a better pull 10, and then pull 11 is the remaining two groups, and then you fight the end boss. So this is like the standard park route. Last timings would be likely for, let's say, a 19, 18 key, maybe even a 20. You pull last the first pull, you last the Raven boss, and then you have probably last coming up late into the fight at the end boss. So this is like the standard park route. Alright, let's go to the advanced route. And this is only possible if you have a Warlock. The Warlock can set up a gate from the entrance towards the first platform. So the first pull you actually play is your tank pulling these two mobs in the beginning and then gating up the platform. These mobs will like walk through this fence that is actually closed to players but open to mobs, and will walk up the stairs. Then your evoker will gate and he will go towards the stairs and add the Raven and the two servants. And then this is the first pull, and you actually last this, and you play this pull. And then after the first boss spawned, make sure that you stand on top of the stairs when the first boss spawns, so that you don't get hit by the wind when he actually spawns, and he's not getting engaged. Your monk tank, or might even be possible to do it with Guardian Druid, not sure, can actually set up this pull by like walking around, or in case of a monk tank, he will set up his transcendence on the stairs, like walk around, add the entire section of the first platform, and then pull everything into the boss. This is quite nice that you have like, yeah, let's say better starting pulls, because the platform, lasting the platform is actually usually a bit better because there are more dangerous mobs in that pull compared to like these wind elementals that basically do nothing, and you have like 5 of them in the first pull, and you can add all of these into the boss and they basically do nothing. So you only need to be worried about one Gale Caller in the fight, which can easily be kicked by the tank and one other DPS to make sure that none of his casts go off. And then these Blade Feathers, they are not like too dangerous. So you don't have any Chakra Masters, you have only one Gale Caller into the first boss. So this is like a pretty easy pull to play. Yeah, I would suggest you do that if you have the ability to like skip towards the first platform with a Warlock. And then, yeah, this pull kind of needs a Monk tank to set it up properly because you like need the Transcendence to actually start the fight. But I think it might be possible to do with a Druid tank as well. So he just walks around, moonfires everything, and comes back. All right. Afterwards, you go towards the stairs, pull the free pack into the pack on the right, and then your evoker will sleepwalk the initiate of the rising sun, and your monk will paralyze the initiate of the rising sun, and then you have like these two mobs are CC'd, and you can add the second herald into the pack. Ideally, you would do that when your first herald is already quite low, so this should be the high priority focus target, and you want to make sure that you kill it, or at least make it quite low before you add the second herald into this pull. And then you fight both of the heralds. You can actually chain this pull somewhat into the first construct if you want, depending on when the door is already open and you already pulled the second herald. You can like chain it into the room and play it with the first construct. And then you have these two adds that are still in CC that will be added to like the second boss. Again, over here it's the same thing as in the pack route. You want to make sure that one of the constructs is at least at like 40%, like pretty low, before you add the other two constructs into this pull. Yeah, the rest of the route is pretty standard. You do one pull for the birdies, you do this pull. Again, you can add the Herald of the Sunrise into pull 8, and then make the chain over here a bit differently. Let's actually do that. So we add this guy over here, and we add this over here and this. So this is like then a little bit better in the kind of pulls that you can do. All right, so this is the advanced route again, which requires you to have a Warlock and kind of a Monk tank at least. But you can look at like this route, which is like the route that I actually use most of the time, and it requires no Warlock, so you can play the first pull like the usual way. You pull the entire. Wait, we actually forgot something. I need to make sure that I do that like this. So, you actually pull the entire first platform to the stairs. You last this, you kill it off. Basically, when one of the Dread Ravens is low and still alive, you can already chain it into the Chakra Masters. Obviously, make sure to not add the Blade Talon right away. Once the Raven is dead, you can go onto the platform and actually play it. And then you play the first boss. You do the same thing. You pull the triple pack into the pack on the right side, up the stairs. And then in this route, your evoker will sleepwalk an initiate of the rising sun towards the middle, and then it can be gripped by the DK into this pull and play it in the pull. Then same thing again, you pull the first construct, keep it low, like 40%, then you add the other two constructs into this pull, and make sure that your monk or your demon hunter CCs the blinding sun priestess. This is done for two reasons. First of all, the solar barrier is only triggered if there are nearby allies to it. So if this and it needs to be like 3 nearby allies. So if this guy is pulled into the boss and there are no other allies except for the boss, he will not cast solar barrier. So this is again why you do that. You CC him to make sure that you can play him and the boss, which is like an extra target, good for your evoker, for the funnel. And you can make this other pull 5 quite a lot easier by not having the priestess into this pull. Yeah, then you continue by killing the birds. This is the same, killing the bird boss. And now we have the skip. So how does the skip work? Okay, so this skip requires you to have an evoker and requires you to have a person that is Night Elf. So, for example, in our group, our Demon Hunter does it. He's Night Elf. So what he's doing is he will get the burnstone from me. We are all standing in this corner on the platform before this pull. And then he will pull it down the stairs towards like this wind circle thing. We go in. We add, with Moonfire, we add this right side. And all of these mobs like walk over. And then the pull is around here, I would say. I need to like range interrupt the Gale Caller once. And then the Demon Hunter stones back to me once we gathered the pull. The mobs will return and we will continue our way towards this. So we skip the Herald of the Sunrise and the Blade Talon, two of the most annoying mobs in Skyreach, which make like pulls very inefficient as well because they have a lot of HP. So we want to skip them and we play this pull then right here. We add actually the Herald into this pull as well. And then this mob, the Blinding Sun Priestess again, will be either sleepwalked or gripped and then CC'd down at the stairs, like over here. And then we will play this pull. And this is like the last pull, so I should clarify the last timings. We last the first pull, we last the second boss, and then we can last this pull, pull 10 on the last platform. And then we play like pull 11, we can obviously chain this. This is usually done once the Blade Talon is dead. You can chain into the Herald of the Sunrise and the Dread Raven. And then once everything is dead, we will pull in the Blinding Sun Priestess into the last boss and play it. So this is usually how it is done. Yep. I think this is one of the better routes because again you skip one of the most two annoying mobs in the game, and you have funnel for the second boss. The third boss automatically has funnel because he spawns ads, and then you have funnel for the last boss as well. So the only boss there where you can't get funnel right now is actually the first boss because yeah, you don't want to have basically any of these mobs in his in the pull except for the Raging Squalls, which you like cannot skip. So there's no option to do it. Earlier, before it was fixed, you could actually add like this group into the first boss, and you would see the Blinding Sun Priestess, and then play the other two mobs into the first boss. But yeah, for now, this boss does not have the ability to get funnel, so you can get funnel on second, third, and last boss on Skyreach. Yeah, I hope this was helpful to you. I think all of the routes are quite interesting. Especially, I liked to play this Warlock route. It is amazing because the first pull feels so efficient and you have a lot of funnel in the first boss. So this is quite nice. But yeah, it again requires you to play with Warlock, and current meta is Demon Hunter DK Aug. So there's no possibility for us to do that. And then the park route, obviously this is like your standard route and it's not too exciting, and it's quite inefficient to like play this pull because these guys are so dangerous and actually quite inefficient because they have so much HP. Yeah, but this is like the standard park route that you would play. Alright, again, I hope this was helpful. If so, it would be nice if you liked and subscribe. See you on the next one. Bye bye.